Mr. Secretary, let's talk about your priorities as Secretary of Energy. You know, we were just talking during the commercial break about the nuclear end of this. When you look at where France is in terms of its nuclear capabilities as it relates to energy, it's obviously much higher than the U.S. We have not approved this in so many years. Why? What is the overall energy outlook from your standpoint, and will it include nuclear?
Well, let's get up above 30,000 feet and take a look real quick, and that is that the world has really changed in the last decade. Because of shale gas, the United States now has the potential, and I think will very quickly, not only become energy independent, but we will become energy dominant. We had the first LNG shipments sent into Poland and the Netherlands just within the last 30 days. Every country that I visit, that I talk to, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Japan, you go around the world and they want to purchase American LNG and or American coal. And I think that is a real change, particularly over the last 8 years of the previous administration, was really not interested in pushing American fossil fuels. When you look at Canada, North America, or excuse me, Canada, the United States, and Mexico, in a North American energy strategy, then this region of the world becomes incredibly important. And I'm headed to Mexico tomorrow to meet with my counterpart, Mr. Coldwell, and the President of Mexico to discuss this issue of how we create a partnership in North America and make this region the dominant energy provider in the world, with obviously the United States being the key player there.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I want to talk to you about this. There's a column in the Wall Street Journal today by James Freeman, who's a regular on this program, one of the op-ed writers, and he writes about a congressional committee seeking answers about Russian ties to energy companies. Freeman says that he's raising questions about Hillary Clinton's public and private positioning on fracking. But let me just read you one of the lines to this. He says, it is clear that Russia is funding U.S. environmental groups in an effort to suppress our domestic oil and gas industry, specifically hydraulic fracking. What do you know about it, Secretary?
Shouldn't surprise anybody that there is corporate espionage going on. When you think about Russia and China, a lot of the businesses there have direct links back to their government. So the idea that there are people trying to manipulate, to put propaganda out about a particular type of fuel, that doesn't surprise me. It's been going on for a long time. We just need to be very thoughtful about it. We need to be sophisticated when it comes to how we deal with Russia, how we deal with China. They're those are our competitors out there, and we know that they may play with a different set of rules, and we just need to be smart enough to identify it. That's the reason cybersecurity and the work that we're doing at Lawrence Livermore, for instance, they had a program called BRO, B-R-O. And BRO is a technology, it's a detection tool that companies like Amazon, Apple, Cisco, all of those big corporate entities use this technology that came out of the Department of Energy. We're going to continue to be on the leading edge of this in protecting our different sectors, particularly the energy sector, which you asked earlier about nuclear. We're going to make nuclear cool again, is what I tell folks, and not only want to talk kids into going into this field, but also looking at all of the advanced reactors, for instance. There are companies out there that are doing some fascinating work. Terra Energy is one of them on traveling wave reactors. We've got other companies that are working on small modular reactors. The real change in the world is making sure that we have a technical supply chain that's working, and that we have young people that are coming into the field so that we have the expertise. For 30 years,
right,
we basically let nuclear sit there and atrophy.
Right. So you say we want to make nuclear cool again. How do you do that? I mean, how are you expecting the nuclear part of the energy business to change in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think we'll see a transition away from really big nuclear plants like we've tried to build and have built in the past, partly because of the cost drivers, to these smaller type of reactors that may have substantially more nimble ways to be inserted into the marketplace from a security standpoint, particularly from a cost standpoint, and being able to deal with the waste. I look at the French. And the French are doing this and have been for decades, building very efficient plants, being able to deal with their waste in an appropriate way. If the French can do it, surely the United States can compete in that market as well.
All right, I'll be watching the developments there. I know our audience cares about that. But back to the Russians having established an elaborate scheme that funnels money through shell companies in Bermuda. Do you expect the Treasury, Steven Mnuchin, to investigate this?
Absolutely. Steve's a very capable, very focused business individual who knows that this type of activity's got to be, it's got to be investigated, it's got to be halted. But again, I go back to, we shouldn't be surprised that there are people trying to manipulate the market out there. It's been going on forever. It happened inside the United States when, coal versus natural gas.
Right.
I mean, Maria, this is age-old type of propaganda. We just need to be smart enough and capable enough to stop it.
Let's talk coal for a second. You visited West Virginia last week, focusing on coal. What did you make of the trip? What did you learn? Tell us about coal and whether or not you can revitalize this area of energy.
Well, the real issue here is the Appalachian area, and not just coal. But if you're in Pittsburgh, you're standing over the Marcellus Shale, over the Utica Formation, over massive amounts of coal. I visited a plant in Longview, West Virginia, a highly efficient, low-emission plant, one of the most effective plants in the world that's using West Virginia, Pennsylvania coal. So there's a real future for coal in this country from the standpoint of being able to develop energy source that's going to last for centuries, not just decades, but for centuries. And that region, we were talking to West Virginia University, the leaders of the state, had Joe Manchin, Senator Capito as well, and leaders of that part of the state who understand, Democrats and Republicans, that the future of that region lies with energy. And I think you're going to see just in the future clear evidence of a plan to be put in place to revitalize the economy of that entire region, not just West Virginia, but Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, an area that's really taken it in the chops, if you will, from the last administration. And hopefully, 4 years down the road, we look back and we'll say that's how you revitalize a region using their energy resources. Yeah, Secretary, we know you have a big agenda. We'll be watching the developments. Thanks so much. You're welcome, Maria.
Good to see you, sir.
First Lady sends you her best.
Oh, thanks so much. Right back at her. Thank you.